I was sitting at my dinner table at my house in Lake Ronkonkoma, and the year was 1986. I was just turning 16, and a family friend that was over having dinner with my parents said, "Eric, have you thought about college? Have you thought about what you want to major in?" And I sort of thinking for a minute going, I am always fascinated with buildings and architecture. I could look at a bridge or a 40-story building and I'm just amazed of how was that built and how is it structured and held up to winds and storms and that. I said, I think of architecture. I think that's what I want to do. And he looked at me and said, "Eric, if you're creative, if you like the maths and sciences, everything is moving to computers. Why don't you major in computer science? Then once you have the skill set of computer science, you can do anything. You can be an architect, you can be a programmer, but that's going to be a much more fundamental degree for you to get." I did some research, I did some analysis, and I said, you know something? That sounds pretty cool. So I decided to major in computer science. Now remember, this was in the 80s. So computer science wasn't a robust curriculum like it is today. It was a spin-off of electrical engineering. So I had to take a lot of physics and Fortran and engineering courses. And after a year, I'm like, I don't know if this is what I really want to do. I was thinking of maybe accounting because I like math or this or that. So I went down to the co-op office at New York Tech and I said, I'd like to get a co-op. I'd like to see what a computer scientist really does. And the lady said, "Eric, perfect timing. Tomorrow, the CIA is recruiting on campus. They come once every 2 years. So you came at the perfect time, and we have one slot available. Would you like to interview with the CIA?" I'm like, dude from Lake Ronkonkoma, Long Island, right? What am I doing at the CIA? I'm like, sure, why not? Right? So I go in, and probably the best asset I had was I had no idea what was on the line, right? I never really thought about it. Today, when I thought about it, I probably would have been a lot more scared, but I'm like, what the heck? So I go in there, and I'm their perfect candidate. I was boring. I'm not here to judge, but in college, I never had a drink until I was 21, never did drugs, never got arrested. I was boring, right? I was a geek. I loved reading. I loved computers. I loved technology. Not so good for the dating side, but really good for the CIA side, right? So the interview went really good, and they gave me a big package, and they said, fill this out, mail it back, don't call us, we'll call you. So I got to sit down with my parents and go back to 3 generations. Remember, the internet didn't exist, so we had to do this all manually, going to the library, doing research and analysis, and I mail it back, and I hear nothing. About 9 months later, I get a call from them saying, we would like to fly you down to Washington, D.C. for 3 days so we can go through the full process. So I went through the polygraphs and the psychological tests and all those other things, and turns out I passed everything, and I was given the top secret clearance. So when you're a co-op at the CIA, you have the same clearance as professionals. But here's the interesting thing. You're a free resource. So now, once I had my clearances and I was offered the position, when I went on interviews, they were reverse interviews. Each department was trying to convince me to go work for them because I was a free resource that they didn't have to pay for and didn't count against their head count. So I went in and talked to a group on programming. I talked to a group on networking, on network operations center, and there was this other small little group on cybersecurity. Now, everyone I talked to said, oh, the future is networking, 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 networking. And I remember my advisor said, oh, cybersecurity is a fad. It's going to go away in a few years. You don't want to major in that. Now, you can see how well I follow directions. I decided to go with cybersecurity, worked there for almost 10 years as a professional hacker, being able to break in and understand how systems work, how they operate, and how the vulnerabilities are exploited. And from there, I was able to build an amazing career in cybersecurity. So I share this story with you because a couple of important lessons. First, trust your intuition. What if I waited 3 days to go to the co-op office? I would have missed the once every 2 years the CIA comes on campus, and I would not have co-op for them. So listen to your intuition. Second, trust your gut. Everyone told me to go with networking, but something deeper inside said this cybersecurity is what you need to go for. And then finally, work as hard as you possibly can and learn everything you can about what your given purpose and passion is in life. So I urge you, if you're not sure what to do or what career to go into, I was very blessed and had things work out, but I tell you, I do not regret a single day of my 30-year career of working in cybersecurity. It is one of the best, most exciting decisions I ever made.